You know, they say starting is the biggest step, so you made the right decision. But before we can start, we need to go over a few things you need in order to follow along with the webinar. Below this video is a breakdown with any tutorials or links you may need to get started for each item. So feel free to jump into the before we start checklist so we can get through this and get started on the webinar. And before I forget, we are going to be using some templates and placeholders as we get started, so if you don't have content or your logo ready or anything like that, don't worry. You can come back and work on that later if you need to. And we will be getting into each of those here in a little bit. For now, the first thing you need is a working email address. And you need this for a few things. Directly below this video is a form to subscribe to the webinar updates. This is where I'll send you any updates or additional tutorials you may need moving forward after the webinar. Look, I hate spam and I only use this for weekly updates and needed communication to keep you in the loop. So please don't forget to sign up so you don't miss out on any of those emails. You're also going to use your email to register for your domain and sign up for other accounts. Now, there is a very good chance you already have an email address. But if you don't, I have a tutorial linked below to help you sign up for a free Gmail account. The second thing, and one of the most important, is a secure password. When you sign up for some of these different accounts, they control your website and ultimately your reputation online. Without a secure password, you risk being vulnerable to hacks, and if your website is your main source of business, you also could risk losing everything. So be sure you have a secure password. If you need it, I've put together some training that includes a keyword strength checker that will blow your mind. The next item on the list is a working credit card. We discussed the $120 cost in the intro video, and that's what this is for. We'll get our domain, hosting, and everything else in just a bit. For now, we need to talk about a massive mistake a lot of people make when getting started, and that's naming your business. Okay, it's not really naming your business as much as it is your brand or handle that your business uses online. But look, seriously, when I first started my first digital marketing agency, I found a name that I loved. I bought the domain, wrote the content for the entire website, designed the website, made a logo, ordered business cards, and a bunch of other stuff only to get a cease and desist because the name was trademarked by a firm in New York. I was given 7 days to take everything down. Yet, all of this could have been avoided by doing a basic trademark search. I just didn't know how. Now, of course, there's more to finding a good username, like making sure you can get the .com and the social media handles for it. And this can take some time, but if you follow along with the training link below, I've covered everything you need to know. Once you have a unique username, you will then need a logo. You can use software to design it yourself. You can hire a designer. There are many different options linked in the training. If you need it, please take advantage of it. For the website, we will need a PNG or transparent logo file that is no more than 360 pixels wide. And moving down the list, the next thing we have is your website icon. This is basically a condensed version of your logo. This is the image that shows up in the tabs of your browser. And it should be 512 pixels squared. And I do have a free template for you if you need it. Just follow the links below and it's yours. And while we will have a section to fill in the webinar for your tagline, I know that it's something that evolves over time, especially when you're starting out. If you already have one, great. If you don't worry. You can go through that training later and update your site when you finally have that right tagline. Now let's discuss your content. This can be prepped before you start, or like I said earlier, you can come back and update the content as you wish. Don't worry if you're not a writer, because there are ghostwriters out there that can take some basic information from you and turn it into amazing content for your website. So you can take that time and spend it on your business. I have listed a link below to an evolving page designed to your overall website content. The information on the link is extremely detailed and links out to many other blog posts and trainings, but we will cover the basics inside of the webinar. Next on the list is a license for the page builder we are going to use. It's called Elementor and there are two parts to it. The free version, which gives you the basic framework, and the pro version, which allows you to basically build and design your own WordPress theme with its custom theme builder. This is how we are going to design our header and footer, It also comes with an amazing form builder for your contact page, and moving forward after the webinar, I can show you how to use that to build a list and a bunch of other stuff. To get your licensed copy of Elementor Pro, all you need to do is go to buyprolink.com, and once you are there, just click on the pricing in the header and buy your license. You only need the personal license unless you plan on designing other websites, and if you do, choose accordingly. Quick disclaimer, this is an affiliate link from me, so if you do purchase an Elementor license, I will receive compensation, and this comes at no additional cost to you. The price is the same whether you use my link or you go directly to the website. It's just how we keep the lights on. So the next item on the checklist is your domain. We are going to go through hostjack.com and register our domain with privacy registration. Alright, we are on hostjack.com, and if you see right here we have this cool little search box. This is how we're going to start looking to make sure that we can get our domain. So the first thing you're going to do is enter in your domain in this search box and click on search. As you see, this domain is available. In order to continue, we're going to go ahead and click on add to cart. Once it's added to cart, we're going to click on continue to cart. This takes us into the next step of the registration process, which is very important. And this is your privacy protection. This is what keeps your personal information like your name, your address, your email address, your phone number, and things of that nature completely private to where it cannot be seen through a whois search or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we have that checked. You can go up to the higher protection if you want, but for right now we're going to stay with the regular privacy protection. This does all you need. So we're going to go ahead and click on continue to cart. Alright, as you see, your brandsname.com registration for your domain, your privacy registration, it is default set to 2 years. So if you want to go back to only doing it for 1 year or go higher, you can do that here. Once you select the term you want to register your domain for, it'll automatically correct everything in your cart, and then you see your total is $12.12. So the next thing for us to do is to actually create a HostJack account. So go ahead and come over here to the left and click on create account. Alright, now it's time to get started. We're going to go ahead and put in our email address. Put in a username you want to use. We'll go ahead and keep that as our email address. Alright, so now that you have your email, your username, and your password put in, go ahead and click on create account. The next step is your billing, so we're going to go ahead and put in our billing information. Once you have put in all of your billing information, you're going to just want to go ahead and click save. The next step is to put in your credit card information. Once you have done that, go ahead and click on save. Now that you have everything set up, all that's left to do is go ahead and click on complete purchase. The last thing you need to do before your registration of your domain is complete is to verify your email address. So if you go inside your email address, you should see this email right here, and it actually comes from HostJack, sales@secureserver.net, with the subject action required for domain activation. Open the email and click on verify your email address inside of the same browser that you're logged into HostJack, so we can get this success message. And you have now completely registered your domain. The next step is to buy your hosting and website security. And now that you have your domain and an actual account with HostJack, we're going to go in and set up our hosting and our security. So we're going to go ahead and come up over hosting, click on hosting, and then click on WordPress. Inside of this section, you see multiple different options, but the option we're going to be using for this website, and in my opinion, the best bang for your buck, is the WordPress Deluxe. We're going to go ahead and click on add to cart. I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to 1 month. So we're going to come on down the list. These are the other two things I had mentioned about in the intro video, which is your website security and your SSL certificate. Click continue. And now that we're here, you can see the total sitting right now is $61.43. But because you were signing up through the webinar, I have a coupon code for you guys. So if you go ahead and click on have a promo code and you type in webinar and hit apply, we'll go ahead and see the discount right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on complete purchase. Now it's time for the final step before the webinar. We are going to be installing WordPress via Managed WordPress on HostJack, and then we will install our SSL certificate and activate the website security. Now that we're here, we're going to go ahead and get started with our website. So you're going to want to make sure that you have this set to build a brand new website, the data center in North America. And the next thing we're going to do is create a WordPress username and password. Now that you've put in your username and password, we're going to go ahead and click on create. This is going to go ahead and get your WordPress site started on a temporary domain. Once this finishes, you'll be able to actually assign your domain to it and finish setting up the security. For now, go ahead and click go to my sites. This process can take a few minutes, so feel free to go ahead and pause the video and come back as soon as it finishes. Alright, we are back. It took a couple minutes. As you see right here on the left, it's a default install of WordPress is set up on your temporary domain that is listed up above the image. We're not ready to get into that yet. Right now we need to go ahead and assign our domain. So we're going to go ahead and click on add custom domain. You want to make sure your domain is checked. If you have other domains, they would be listed here. Make sure the box is checked to make this your primary domain for your account, and click on attach. This is going to go ahead and make sure everything is set up for your domain to be linked to that installation of WordPress. This will take a few minutes. Once it's done, we're going to move forward and install our SSL certificate. Alright, now that we have the Managed WordPress installation live with our domain associated with it, the next thing we're going to need to do is set up our SSL certificate. So we're going to basically come down under Standard SSL in the SSL Certificates drop down and click on Setup. Now that we are here, we're simply going to be clicking on Choose a Domain, and then we're going to click on this and we're going to start typing the domain that we registered that we're going to set up the SSL on. Once you start typing, you should see this drop down. If you do not see the drop down, your hosting is not set up yet. Give it a minute or two and try again. We're going to go ahead and click on our domain and click continue. Then we're going to actually uncheck the email because we do not have an email set up for our domain yet. We're going to make sure this box is checked that says make a change to the website or add a TXT record to the DNS and click continue. We're going to go ahead and agree to the subscriber agreement and click continue. Now that that's done, HostJack will go ahead and take care of all the necessary work to get your SSL complete. There is a plugin we're going to be installing to make sure everything loads properly, but before we get to that, we're going to go back to our account page and click on my products. Now that we've done that, we're going to come down to website security and backups and go ahead and click on setup. We're going to pick a domain and we're going to click next. Everything is good. We're going to go ahead and click on manage, and this is going to be the dashboard where you can come back and get full scans. And of course, this is a brand new site, so it may take a few seconds for it to actually pull information off of it, but this is going to scan everything on your website through time and make sure that everything is good and your website is safe for your visitors and yourself to log in and out of. Alright, so we are finished. We have your website installed on your domain, website security, and the SSL certificate all installed and ready to roll. The only thing left to do is for you to hop on over and watch me in a webinar. So I will see you inside the training.